got my hair cut. First thing yesterday morning, I went on down to Great Clips by Walmart on Eagle Landing, and I was the first one there. They opened at 8 a.m. I was shocked that they opened so early, but I was up and I got there, and I know they're busy this time of year because everybody's getting their Christmas pictures and family times, and my hair hadn't been cut in a year. We figured it out. I hadn't been there in one whole year. It's the longest I've ever gone by far without getting my ears lowered. So here we are. I think it looks pretty good. My hair actually grew back in places. It was totally going bald in here, and now it's kind of come back. So I think a lot of that had to do with the meds I was on before. So I'm just sitting here. It's Christmas Eve, Wednesday, December 24th, 5 to 9 in the a.m. Playing with some music, just getting a bunch of new tracks together, some melodic house and techno variety. Yeah, just play with some music. Do a little less of this today. I really exhausted myself doing my first real kind of vlogging 2 days ago, but it was a really good day, so I had lots to say and posted about it, and whatever. People take a look, they take a look. Moving on. Yeah, it's Christmas Eve, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta pop out, get a little something for my mom. That's all I'm doing this year. Don't have a lot of money for gift giving, and it's just like, yeah, what's the point sometimes? Like, I give my sister $50, she gives me $50 back in gift cards or whatever we get. Like, it's just an exchange program, so no pressure. We're not doing that this year. Christmas just comes every year so quick, and then Halloween and your birthday and all these events, and it's like, then a year goes by. Well, this has been the longest year of my life, and I am going to enjoy this Christmas and just be in the spirit and remember the good things. I remember all the sketchy things I did this year too. Like, can't forget that. But I know I'm okay, and I went out last night. It was Major League's 23rd of December party, the 2-3 they call it. Underwhelming. Lots of young people. Me and my buddies felt pretty old, and I'm like 7+ years older than most of my buddies. They're all like late 30s, 40, 41. I'm gonna be 50 in 2 years, so going back in time, I'm still in. Once upon a time, I was way older than my buddies. When I was 9, they were just being born. So. But yeah, there were a lot of younglings running around, a lot of mustaches. I missed the memo. I didn't get the memo that it was a mustache convention. Every 19, 20 to 23-year-old boy man had greasy little mustaches. Nothing nice and full like mine. They're all these like little skinny little stashes all over their faces. My buddy Brian had to give them a hard time about it. It was pretty funny. He's got a pretty big black beard. Oh, I talked it out again. So yeah, just gonna sit here and chill for a bit, get an appetite, and go out and reconvene at that time. Went to Shoppers Drug Mart, and I picked up a gift card for my mom. Threw $100 on that. It's kind of just the standard operating procedure now. She loves Shoppers Drug Mart. This is a really cute card I found. It's one of those little more expensive ones, but you can hang it up and leave it on display. I love owls, and Mom and I will sit on the deck sometimes together in the back, and we'll hear owls hooting away in the night, sending warning calls and talking to one another and maybe communicating with us. I don't know. Sometimes I've tripped out on owls thinking that they're talking to me, because I don't know, maybe they are. And then I grabbed a Starbucks canned double shot mocha energy and coffee beverage. It felt good being at the 2-3 party last night and not drinking. Like, everybody else is drinking, mostly. And I got like, at least 10 hugs. Or 10 different people I hugged, some of them multiple times in like a couple of minutes. I love this. Every time, she just, life. What is this person doing? She gonna back into her spot? Good job. Alright, rock and roll. Carefully over bumps. I don't really have anything to hold my phone properly. I think my mom might have something I can use that she doesn't use, and I can prop it up in here. Because right now it's stuck in the corner between the door, and you can see where I am. But it could just decide to fall. Maybe not though. I learned a lot in physics class about normal forces. And we had to draw diagrams of like an object such as the phone, and every point that it is in contact with, and all the different forces that are pushing on it, and it pushes back on them. So when you're standing on something, you have a force going down into the ground, but it has a force acting equally and opposite up to you. It's a normal force. The force is strong with all of us, and we don't even know it. There are many forces at work. So last night I was trying to think, why did I even bother going to the 2-3 party? Like, it wasn't exciting for me. But it was good to get those hugs. It was good to see faces. It was good to, there's so many young people that I did not know. Some kids there that I've seen there before. Kids, they're all adults, but, they're less than half my age probably. So they're kids. Like, I could be their dad, If I'd had kids in my early 20s, they'd all be half my age by now. But I saw a good friend of mine that hadn't been a good friend. We hadn't been good friends to one another. We were just arguing a lot about semantics and what we believe, and not seeing eye to eye and forcing each other's vibes. And I was being religious and he was not. And so we had a falling out back in, I want to say, September, October, probably September. But he was there last night. We chatted for 10-15 minutes, and it was all good in the hood, because at the end of the day, we love one another. We go back a ways. We both have been through mania. We both have a bipolar diagnosis. I don't know if his is necessarily bipolar or what, but we've both had similar experiences, hospitalizations, shit like that, where that crow just did a little dance over the air and like over my car. They'll do that. They'll just come out and they'll be like, hey, look what I can do. And they just go back. They're having a contest. So I saw this friend. We chatted, got caught up a bit, and they left. I didn't stay too much longer after that. Had my buddies Brian and Alex with me. Was driving them because they were having some drinks and we were having some tokes. And I had envisioned being able to play DD, designated driver, a few days as soon as I got the letter in the mail saying you can get your license back Monday, I thought, well, Tuesday's the party, I can drive. That way my friends don't have to risk things and don't have to Uber and cab. And it was going to be busy last night. The parking lot wasn't very full, but there were a lot of people there. So Ubers and cabs, they're definitely overwhelmed by the end of a night like that. But they need that. Since Uber came along, the cabs haven't been making nearly as much money. But we needed Uber. We needed to get with the times. Uber's fantastic. So much cheaper. It's quick. High tech. It's with the times. So let's go the Young Road way. Crossing over onto Fairfield Island, getting closer to home. I got up this morning, plugged in my laptop, and just kind of started doing a little bit of downloading some music, some new music for whatever, for mixing purposes. I always like getting new music. Feels like a present, you know. But then you listen to that music a lot in a day or in a few days, and you kind of get tired of it, and you kind of put it on the shelf for a while, and then you come back to it a little while later, and it's like new again, kind of like an old friend. But today I decided I was going to get some new music, so I would like to throw together a melodic house and techno mix with a New Year's sort of vibe. Something to do. Not going to be working still for a little while. Need things to do to pass my time, and I can't be out driving all the time because anytime I leave the house, I spend money. Isn't that the case with so many people? You leave the house, you go somewhere, you got to spend money, got to use gas to get there. Right off the bat, you're spending money on gas. And I needed some Burger King this morning. I was hungry. I was sitting there mixing and I got hungry, and I'm like, I'm going all the way across town to Burger King. It's like a 15-minute drive. Not quite. Got 2 sausage and egg croissants. These guys, they're delicious. I prefer the sausage ones to the bacon ones. I just feel you get way more protein out of the sausage ones than the little tiny strips of bacon they give you now. But yeah, so I'm just gonna head home and probably eat the rest of my breakfast. Christmas Eve, I don't know what we're doing. Maybe even watch a movie later. I haven't watched a movie in a long time. I can't even really remember. I think I haven't seen a movie since May last year. Like a full beginning to end movie. And that movie was called Hot Fuzz. And I'd seen it a few times now. It's a British murder mystery comedy. It's fantastic. Hot Fuzz. And I was in England at the time with family on the eve of heading home. So it would have been like May 20th, 2024. So it's been over a year and a half. Like over a year since I got a haircut. Well over a year since I've seen a movie. I hardly watch the Canucks anymore because it's so disheartening to see my team doing so bad. But I can't be a diehard right now. Like so many things that I've been interested in that I'm just not interested in anymore. For now. Then all the other things that I wasn't interested in for a while, I am interested in now. So our moods change, the seasons change. You know, I'd like to watch some more movies. Oh, people. people and they're insisting on turning in front of you when there's nobody behind you. You know, they could wait an extra 2 seconds and you can pass them, and then they can turn totally free of any other cars coming. But nope. Homeward bound. Oh, I hear geese. Just like 20 of them. Not like 1,000 of them. That was insane. Boop. A little Christmas scenery. Life on the Fraser River in Chilliwack, BC, Canada, where I reside. And yeah, it's Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas. I just came down here for a puff and just to live and think and send a few messages out there to peeps and wake up for the day. 21 years ago right now, I was in the hospital for the first time for my manic stuff. And we didn't really know what the problem was. We just knew I was on another level and I wouldn't shut up and I wouldn't sleep. I didn't sleep for like a week plus. Leading up to that, I thought I was going into the hospital for some kind of IQ testing because I was the smartest, fastest person alive at the time. That all wasn't the case. And we learned about this term called mania. And I was given the bipolar diagnosis, which is otherwise known as manic depression. Now, I don't really get too depressed in life. I never really have. I've gone through depression for sure, but I've never actually thought about really hurting myself or letting it get so bad that I can't live anymore. I've had bad depression and anxiety, but not as bad as others that I've known. Let's put it that way. So 21 years ago, I was so manic that I had to be hospitalized over Christmas. And then 4 years later, to the day, I was in the hospital again. I went through another manic 4 years to the day. And on that Christmas, I actually got jumped in the hospital. If you can believe that. Somebody else was in there. He was just fresh into the hospital and having a panic attack, and he jumped me and beat me up, and I didn't actually feel a thing. I was on the floor. I kind of just turtled. I could hear everybody screaming and freaking out, and he was pounding away, and like nothing would hurt. I didn't feel a thing. All I could think while he was swinging away was that he had demons in him, and I was protected by angels. And I felt like 3 words were given to me in that moment to put an end to it all. I didn't fight back. I didn't know how to stop him from fighting, from attacking me. But then I just said 3 words. I went, "Stop it, man." Just like that. "Stop it, man," in a stern voice. And he immediately stopped and ran away from me. And then the first nurse that came over to help me up off the ground and get me into a secure room, because the whole place went on lockdown, the first nurse that came over was my neighbor at the time. I can't remember her name, but she'd been my neighbor for a few years, and I didn't even know she worked. I didn't even know she worked at the hospital, let alone the psych ward. And here she is helping me up off the ground after I've just been jumped on Christmas Day. And they'd said that nobody gets jumped in there, let alone on Christmas. That had never happened before. Happened to me. So the Christmas dinner I was supposed to be going to, my mom's got canceled on me. Well, they had it. I couldn't go because I had to do some X-rays and do a report to a police officer. You know, my account of what went down, and yeah, I ended up getting a thing in the mail 3 months later. I get a thing in the mail 3 months later, and it's like Crown versus Jordan so-and-so, and I don't remember what his last name was, but I remember being able to look him up on Facebook. And I see this dude, and it was the same guy that beat me up, jumped me. It was the same guy, but he had two like twin boys sitting next to him, two little baby, toddler twin boys. And I'm thinking, wow, like there's no way I'm pressing charges against this guy. Like he was going through something mentally. I was too. I didn't get hurt. I'm not gonna go after this guy who's obviously a new dad, and and it just went away. But I just remember that today. I remember it every Christmas. I'm like, this is the day that, Christmas 2008, you got jumped in the hospital. Not only were you in the hospital, you had to go for x-rays and wait for x-rays while in the hospital, while you were living there. And how did I go manic the first time? Well, I'd been pretty depressed and anxious for a while after getting out of a relationship in 2003, leading into 2004, and working in a call center job that didn't work out for me. Rightfully so. I was really good at it, but I wasn't meant to be there, and I asked too many questions. I wasn't a sheep there, so they didn't like that, and they let me go. But I met a girl there who introduced me to astrology and things about my birthday being March 9th. And I read this thing in a book that said a whole bunch of things that were really accurate about me. And there's a lot of activity down here for Christmas morning. I'm kind of surprised. Jogging. I'll get back to that one day, I guess. But right now, I'm back to driving. So, encourage more laziness. That's my New Year's resolution. I got pretty fit for the summer this year. My resolution is to drive more, walk less. But this girl introduced me to this astrology book, and I read all this stuff about March 9th. And March 9 people are supposedly the most psychic people in the entire calendar year. And that's always stuck with me, because I always knew before that I had a sixth sense, that I could see things before they happened. And it happens a lot in my life, and it's freaked me out before, and it's really fed my manic episodes in the past. But now I don't let it faze me. I forget about it. I just let it slide. I'm like, this is just me. This is who I am. If I have some sort of psychic power, then so be it. It's not like I can actually know that I'm actually having a psychic moment. Everything's in hindsight. You can see something before it happens, but you don't know that you've seen it before it happens until it happens, and then you're like, oh, I saw that coming. We think so many things, and so many things can happen that, yeah, maybe we did think that before it happened, and therefore we have some kind of special power. Yeah, I gotta clean these. I got a bit of nicotine stain on my fingers. But that's, again, coming with the territory of sitting around a lot the last few months, biding my time. But I read that book, or not the whole book on every birthday, but mainly the thing on my birthday, because it was pretty profound. And then I moved to Gibson's for the first time to get away from my life in Surrey and Coquitlam and everywhere, in Langley, that whole area that I was hanging out at the time. I had lots of good friends, but I needed change of scenery, and my sister and her hubby at the time needed help with their business. So I went out to Gibson's on the coast for the first time in 2004 and fell in love with it, and fell in love with the people, and people fell in love with me, and I found myself again, and I really found myself. But I got pretty deep into the astrology thing. Like, I was reading people their horoscopes out of the newspaper. They weren't just reading it themselves, I was reading it to them, like I was dictating it. almost. Like I was veering away from my, you know, Christian background and my faith in just trusting in the Lord and not trusting in other powers and things. Learned a lot though. Can't forget it. It's part of me now. There's a lot to all that stuff. So I'm dabbling with all that, and I'm finding myself, I'm meeting all these pretty girls and not sleeping around, though I felt even more empowered that I, you know, had opportunities, but I didn't. Kept my pants on and felt even more like kind of like a monk. You know, they get a lot of, like, you can get power by just holding out. Even if you got libido and you want to go giver, you just don't. And there's something very powerful in that too. So here I am, getting myself back and feeling amazing, and every day just felt better and better. And then I started reading a book called Be Here Now. And I remind myself of it all the time. I tell myself, shut up, don't think about the past, don't think about the present. Don't think about the future. Be here now. And this dude, whose name originally was Richard, as well as mine, was a Harvard psychologist, doctor, and professor in psychology. And he started doing acid. He wound up getting fired. He wound up going to India. He became a guru. He wrote this book that was amazing to me at the time. It was tying in Christianity with Hinduism and Buddhism and all the isms, and it was all on combining into one thing with pictures, these really intense pictures, and really easy to read writing. He was really down to earth guy. It wasn't all messed. To me, it was very captivating for me, and a friend had recommended it. They're like, you should read this. It'll really affect you. And people there that were higher up in their world of I won't say they were in a cult necessarily, but I did at the time. Afterwards, when I went manic, I was like, they're all in a cult and they were trying to bring me in, and they did make comments like, let's get you in here, like, let's get you part of our crew. And, you know, it's a whole other type of church. It's what they do. Oh, going down the rabbit hole of my past again. Am I traumatized? Yeah. Yeah. 100%. But am I... Yeah, it's an okay trauma, though. It's not like PTSD where I'm like, oh my, triggered and freaking out and it's hard to talk about it or anything. It's like, no, it's like traumatic in a way that, like, I kind of want to talk about it. I want to tell people my stories of how I went manic and the things that I saw, and everything happens for a reason. I was in the second one in 2008, going back and forth between 2004 and 2008. But that was the one that really got us going. A few of us were on that. Everything happens for a reason. Otherwise, something else would happen. So every moment that happened is meant to be. Otherwise, something else would have happened. It was, right? So everything in history was meant to have happened. Otherwise, something else would have happened. And people talk about other parallel universes opening up. When you make one decision, the other decision that you could have made opens up a parallel universe where you make that decision. And, you know, they make movies about this now, and they're really hard to follow. And, you know, we like to let our minds come up with all sorts of wonderful possibilities. Because we're so complex, both physically, mentally, biologically, spiritually. Our consciousness it's just so intense that we have never-ending amounts of creative ideas out there. So I start going manic reading this book called Be Here Now. I start getting up on these ideas And then I watched a movie called What the Bleep Do We Know in Victoria. I watched it in the theater at the University of Victoria with some friends. And that's a whole other story. That whole trip, I could talk about that whole trip in a couple hours story. Because I remember it so vividly. And it was 2004. And I watched What the Bleep Do We Know? And it was hitting on all the right notes, everything I wanted to see. It was like no other movie I'd seen before, kind of like a documentary style film, tying in spirituality with mental health and how we visualize and see and hear and touch and all of our senses and what it all means. And it was really taking God out of the whole thing too. Like, I knew that, but I was like, okay, yeah, there is no God. It was really pulling me all the way to, like, there is no God, there is us, only us, but we are the one, we are God, you know, that kind of thinking. And I freaked out. I had a full-on manic attack and turned my life back to Jesus, and then didn't sleep for like a week. I was so high on it. And that is a whole other story. So I wound up being hospitalized, thinking that I was going in for, like I said, IQ testing or, you know, something like that, because I was so smart. I was so fast. I could just rattle off anything. I'm cold, man. Little Red Riding Hood. Hardly any breeze, but still. So yeah, that's how I went manic the first time. I got really depressed and anxious for a while, moved to a new location, met a lot of people, found myself again, and then started feeding spiritual thoughts and ideas that conflicted with my Christian upbringing, religious upbringing, because I got a lot of religion in me still too, which I don't want to be religious. I don't want to be religious about it, and I feel like I'm like the REM song, losing my religion. Like, that's me in the corner, that's me in the spotlight, losing my religion. And I don't want to be religious, but I fully believe in Jesus. Well, how did you learn about him? From the Bible. Well, the Bible's a religious book. Okay, fine. I'm a religious person then. Call it what you want to call it. I have a relationship, though. I have established one. We have established one over time and space, and it will just continue each day, every day that I wake up. Joshua 1:9, I command you, be strong and courageous, for I am with you wherever you go. And God's saying that as a command to be strong, be courageous. Why? Because he is with you wherever you go. So, like, the angel on the shoulder, the devil on the shoulder, they're with you every day, everywhere you go. What are you feeding? What are you listening to? You know. We all know. Sirens are going, crows are crowing. Sounds like a fire. Yellow finger. Gross. Nobody's perfect. Teeth bad. They'll get fixed soon. Had dentures, but lost a bunch of weight, so the dentures don't fit no more. Can't eat a lot of stuff. Well, I can, but there's lots that I cannot even chew at all. Sucks, but that's a me problem. I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anybody for these things. I'm not a finger pointer. Try not to be anyways, because the average of finger pointing, because you meet people in life that point their finger in every which way, you know, like, oh, it's their fault, oh, they did this to me, oh, they did that, da-da-da, da-da-da. The average of all those pointings is right back to you. You're the one in the middle pointing in all the different directions. You are the average, so likely you are probably part of the problem. not just everybody else. Whoa, tangent rant. Lots of sirens. Christmas Day sirens. Wouldn't be Chilliwack without it, right? Highest crime rate per capita in the country, yet it's also the most beautiful city there is in the world, in my humble opinion. I haven't been around the world, but I know a lot of people, and I've met a lot of people who have been around the world, and they're like, my gosh, it is absolutely just amazing here. So I'm gonna just stop recording here and come up with some ideas.